I want people to understand that there's so much to life, whether you're the CEO or the janitor.
Giving everything you do at 150% will change your mindset and your perception of what you're doing.
You're not going to want to miss this week's episode. Tim sits down with his better half, Brittney Rexius. They talk a little bit about how they're handling the fallout from the COVID-19 pandemic and what it's like for small businesses right now. You don't want to miss this one.
Moral of the story is, you are you, and I am me. Just be. I'm a gentleman, now I'm settled in.
Welcome to the Now or Never podcast, all things entrepreneurship, people who just take life right by the horn. And wow, that fucked that one up.
Right by the balls and...
No, I can't say that.
Sorry.
No, come on now. This one's serious. We'll do it again. Jesus. Welcome to the Now or Never podcast, all things entrepreneurship, people who just take life and kick it square in the ass with my special guest, my beautiful wife, Brittney Rexius.
Hey.
Hey. Every time you're on here, you say the same way. You know, today is all about, I guess, uncertainty. I mean, so many people out there right now are in the same boat we are, facing uncertainty. We thought it'd be, no business type podcast right now, I guess, per se. This is a lot of Q&A questions we're getting in. Like, what are we doing? I think it's great for people to hear where we're at so that they can have somebody that they can correlate to, that they can, sympathize with. And I think for us as business owners and parents and just residents, to hear where we're at, what's going on with us and things we're facing. So you guys know you're not alone out there, that we're all in this together and we're all facing the same things. And a lot of business owners have messaged in after last week's podcast we did with Nick and Cody. And I think to hear husband and wife and what we're doing and how we're dealing with our kids would be crucial right now, what's going on. So we're all facing uncertainty, but it's how do you have, faith in what you've built, and your faith in your Savior, your faith in your marriage, your faith in your family life right now to persevere and go on. So I guess the hardest thing that a lot of people are having to deal with right now, and I think that this is especially for you and me, is you can't outwork this situation.
Nope.
There's nothing you can do to work harder to fix this. I had somebody else ask me, why am I so calm, the other day? And I think I had the greatest analogy ever. It's like, any of you guys had siblings or a best friend growing up? Like, say we're over at Chad's house growing up. When Chad knocks a hole through the window with a baseball, I'm like, oh shit.
You're not supposed to tell anybody about that.
So, and I'm kind of my shit's about to hit the fan, but you didn't do it. But you kind of want to watch, but you kind of don't, because somebody's in trouble.
Yep.
That's kind of how I feel right now. I think most of us feel like the reason I'm calm is because I didn't do it.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of avenues. So, I mean, it's right now, it's just making a plan day by day. Just get through tomorrow. Don't try to think about 3 months from now per se. Just try to think this today, tomorrow, next week, and 2 weeks from now.
Yep.
That's kind of where we're at. So a lot of you guys don't know, after Brittney had worked in the companies for a year after baby Roman was born, and she decided to go back in the field to work again because I couldn't afford her. Because I couldn't come close to affording her. And two, family health insurance for a family of 8 through our small company is over $2,000 a month in premiums. So that's quite of a hit for us. And so that was her plan. So she'd been back working in the hotel industry, actually. So you talk about that, I guess.
I went back to work as a controller of a hotel here in Omaha, and just getting my hands back in bigger accounting than just our companies. I love numbers, so I needed something to challenge me that wasn't something that I dealt with on a daily basis. So, I've been back doing that for the last, 4 months?
3.5 months, yeah.
Yeah. So,
and with hopes that you were about to get hired on, you were on temp and had the contract all set, and then
the coronavirus hit.
This whole craziness hit, and I mean, you don't have to name the hotel or anything. I don't know what the legality is there, but you went from 80 some employees to how many?
We went from 87 employees down to 3 employees, me being one of those, and being part-time and only getting half of my pay now, because
so half time and half the pay. Mm-hmm. So a 75% reduction, which for our family it's massive. It's massive. It's exactly what we pay our daycare people.
Yeah.
So literally working for a swap, it's 100. There's no positive at all. So, obviously right now with the hospitality industry, it's gonna be months.
Yeah.
Before that's back, and so obviously here we are in a quandary again. And just to let you know what kind of people we are, where we're at, like we basically started our lives over 5 years ago. So a lot of you guys, like, you've been in business for a long time, you've got all this stuff. No, we both went through divorces before we met each other, which is a financial reversal. Especially if you're the breadwinner, and still paying that off. And everything else. So we're fresh into this. Like we're not, in the 2017, 2018, I call it a crisis for the nutrition industry where a lot of stores got devastated. Like we're just coming out of that and finally had a real profitable year to be where we're at now, which is nothing anyone could have prepared for. I've seen a lot of the small business support groups. I wish I'd have prepared better. How the hell take that off your shoulders?
Yeah.
Nobody could have prepared for this, period. So it isn't on you. So one, just chill out. I know I see so many business owners saying they're having anxiety attacks and all those things. I'm like, chill out and breathe. You didn't do this. Maybe we all weren't in the best financial position. This is a learning lesson for us in the future, which we'll get on in a little bit about leveraging. But none of us is nobody else's fault. And so here we are in this position where we're at, that we're like, okay, so what does my wife do? She starts applying for overnight stocking jobs at Sam's Club,
Heck
Costco, Baker's, and Hy-Vee to make some extra scratch. Most people in our age group or older, this isn't the first time we've seen this. Something happened where we're like, oh shit. So a lot of us kind of know exactly what to do. I don't sit around waiting for someone to fix it for me because it didn't get fixed last time. And if it did, it took a long ass time to do it. So the rest of us, I don't have 6 months to wait for the government to do something. I need to feed my kids today. And so she went immediately applied, and I'm working crazy hours to do whatever I can do. And that's just what you have to do as a family is like, listen, if something comes from the government, great.
Yeah.
That will be a surprise. I'm going to under promise and over deliver myself. So I'm going to go work and put it in my hands what I can do in certain industries like grocery stores, which are going crazy because all the doomsday preppers.
Hey, they need the help.
Hey, they need the help. So go work what you can when you can do it. I mean, like I said, when I first started Rexius, I was delivering pizza at night after my shop closed. And I have now where like, if I can go do that, make some money to leave more money in the company to make sure I can pay my employees, I'm going to do it.
Hey, even 5 years ago, I had a part-time job.
It wasn't even 5 years ago.
Working at Kohl's.
3 years ago.
3 years ago.
At Christmas, to make extra money, she did overnight stocking in the shipping department at Kohl's.
I went to work from 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. and then went to Kohl's and worked 5 p.m. to 1 a.m.
That was only 3 years ago.
Yeah.
It's if for anybody else who thinks that business owners are sitting back like right now, we're all shitting a brick. I'll be honest with you. We're in the same boat with families. We have kids, and that's something our kids have got to see a very real aspect of us lately, understanding how we as business owners take this approach as well. That, if we can afford to like maybe cut my check down, which obviously using income kind of changes that, so that make sure our staff is taken care of. Because any small business, you'll find out very quickly, our staff is our family. They have all been to our house. We love them all. I had to let somebody go today that I just hired and recruited over from Des Moines. Just 3-4 weeks ago, I didn't have any idea this was going to happen. Thank God the kid was super understanding. He knows me. He knows that I would do anything I could for my people. And giving that check, I'm glad that Cody's meeting him, because I honestly don't know if I could hold it together. And the changes we're going to have to make here in the next 24 to 48 hours, because sales are down 35%. We're still doing okay compared to some. So I'm going to take what I can. I get people aren't working. They have less discretionary income. They can't spend it. And I get that. I'm not faulting anybody on that. It is the situation that they're in. I'm going to make the adjustments I need to make. And I'm not doing it like most companies. I'm not going to go find the highest paid employees and cut them out. I'm going to find the people that have been with me the longest, the most loyal, that have the best networking capabilities, that can do the most, and because they've been the most loyal to me. And I know financially, from a profit and loss statement, I can cut a few people. And really, I'm not going to do that, because this is a commitment I have to them and their loyalty to me. And that's what small business is about. Absolutely. It's really what entrepreneurs do, because we understand that there's only one of us and there's 10 of them. And without them, I don't exist. And Mark Cuban actually had said something this morning. He was talking about the government stuff, and I don't do political, so we're not going to do that. But, they're talking about the money the government's going to give out. Now, bigger companies have options. It doesn't need bailouts. Now, I'm not going to get in the logistics of one thing or the other, and I don't usually agree with Mark Cuban on damn near anything. For the most part, I do applaud his success, and I do envy the hell out of it, and I take notes from everybody. But even said the same thing, like hospitality, airlines, private equity, they have options. there's a lot of really rich ass people right now that aren't hurt by this at all, really, or as minimal compared to their portfolio. That if the price is right in hospitality, people like Mark Cuban and Warren Buffett and these guys who have a lot of money, they have options. They can go for private equity because they know longevity, they're going to be back no matter what. People aren't going to stop flying a year from now. People aren't going to stop staying in a hotel a year from now. It's the small businesses that need it right now. We all have enough that we can figure it out for a month, maybe 6 weeks.
Yeah.
But most small businesses can't. And you know, that it's whether you're an LLC, like you're in a partnership, you're an S corporation, you have to pass all that through. You don't get to put it in a savings account, just sit back. This isn't, you know, Harvard. I'm not sitting on 1.4 billion in the hopper.
I wish we were.
It'd be nice. But you know, like 49%, 48% of the people employed in the United States are employed by a small business. 18% of the entire United States population is employed by a small business of less than 20 people. Guess what? We ain't got it. It just isn't the case. No. And so I believe, like, give it to the states. State of Iowa is doing this grant program right now. I've been trying to figure out this paperwork all day. I think Chad's been hearing me scream from my office and then texting my wife to figure out how to do it.
I'll come in there and get it figured out in 10 minutes.
She would. This is true. But like, even then, I spent on Friday when Nebraska, Governor Ricketts announced that Nebraska had been approved for the SBA disaster. So I got right on that website. I'm hopping to it before Nebraska was even on there. 8.5 hours later. Now, granted, everybody's on the system, but part of it was between me talking to my wife, who's a controller, and my CPA couldn't figure out what the SBA wanted for information. And so there's that fear inside, because anybody who's ever dealt with government as much as I have, if you screw up one thing, a T instead of an I, you find out 90 days later, they denied you.
Yep.
And it sucks. So now there's fear that I even do it right. I couldn't even upload the documents. So I'm coming back at 3 a.m., the deadest time possible to see if I can get the documents to upload, because I had to email it. But if somebody doesn't find that email and attach it to that form, I'm screwed. And there's too many people waiting on a paycheck. So, I mean, and I get it. It was made overnight. But there's no directions. I'm YouTubing shit. And there's other guys on there, and they don't even have helpful videos. There was one dude who uploaded a YouTube video 10 minutes before I looked. He goes, anybody else seeing this bullshit? I'm like, yeah, I'll like that video. I'm following that dude. But that's just is what it is. And whatever you want to say, this isn't a political thing. I mean, even Mark Cuban, who said, let's be honest, he's no fan of the president, said, whatever the president does is 100% right and 100% wrong. Because depending on who you are, there is nothing to prepare us for this. It is. And honestly, like, I agree, like, with somebody said, yeah, get these checks out to the people. Absolutely. $1,200 a month, $1,500 a month, $1,000 a month. It's great. But for most of us, that's not going to pay a lot of bills.
Yeah.
If you can get it out, like, and e-file that shit in people's accounts within the next 12 days, sure. You do it 6 weeks from now, which is traditional government, which is not real fast about anything. And I get it. We have a very large population. I'm not going to get into logistics of that shit. People are like, how do I pay my car payment next week?
Yeah.
So what we've done is we called every bank we had and said, hey, like, what are your guys' plans? And so, of course, our mortgage broker, well, he can do forbearance, but you got to pay it back before the time limit. We're like, we're FHA loan. Yeah, we're not doing that. And so we have to take what the state or what the Fed said and tell the bank, like, you don't get to do it. But they're trying to put us off on it.
Yep.
Our car, 4 Points Federal Credit Union, said, absolutely. We'll defer 3 payments right off their 60 days. We'll put it on the end. No problem.
Yeah.
Access Bank, another small bank. And anybody else who's ever watched our podcast, Access called us on Saturday.
Yeah.
I hadn't even called him yet. And Patrick Hughes from Access Bank called me up and like, hey, man, how's the gym going? Like, what's the deal? I'm like, I don't know what to do right now. Yeah, I don't know what's going to happen 2 weeks from now. He's like, hey, do you want to defer this for like 90 days? Here's your options. I'm like, yeah, man. He goes, okay, I'll have the paperwork over to you on Wednesday. And that's where relationships come in play.
Absolutely.
This is where small banks, and I'm like, I may bitch about my bankers, I may bitch about my interest rates. Right there, he's got my business for life.
Yeah.
Versus Nissan, you called them.
Yeah. And they won't do anything.
They said it's the lease. Sorry. So understand, I have 6 kids. I have a lot of employees. We're not that old, contrary to what my kids think. I have gray hair. I have gray hair because I have 6 of them. And I'm going to buy a lot of cars. Guess what? I'll never fucking buy again. A Nissan. Yes, we'll remember this. We all will remember the people who helped and the people who took it as a chance to profiteer. I'll never buy or rent a Nissan again in my life. And I will tell every person I ever meet to not, because that response in this circumstance, when we're all like, holy shit, the bank's not going to lose any money if you defer it 2 payments. They're still going to get their payments. If you still want to charge me interest during that time period, I wouldn't even
for it.
bitch. Tack it on at the end. It's a moneymaker. Small banks have been doing this for 20, 30 years called Skip-a-Pay. Where at Christmas, a small bank, Elkhorn Valley Bank, my dad worked. They'd send you this thing. You just had 2 or 3 of them you could do in case you had hard times during a whole loan payment. Or they'd always send everyone a Skip-a-Pay at Christmas and say, hey, if you are having trouble meeting ends meet for your family for Christmas, pay a $30 fee and we're going to put a payment at the end. Well, shit, I mean, sometimes I was broke. I'm like, hey, thank God, because I don't want to be that dad that can't provide. So small banks have been doing this for decades. And then you got companies like Nissan. Nope.
Sorry, can't do anything.
And that's just it. And she called me. I'm like, you've got to be shitting me. And I'm a lot nicer than you are. So the fact that, like you didn't go off on them. Okay, I'm not. She isn't. Well, I am nicer than you are. Most of the time.
Never.
People are way more scared of you than they are of me. Let's be honest. But that's the kind of stuff. And I think everyone needs to pay attention to this. But I told everyone else, employees call me where their spouse lost their job. What do I do? And we've told everyone, like, okay, go file unemployment. There's no penalty in the state of Nebraska. There's no penalty in the state of Iowa. Or I don't think Missouri does either. Some states still are doing it. Like file, I won't argue. I'll fill it out right away. I'll help you guys any way I can. There's short time pay. There's all sorts of options to do with your employees. So to see an employee that you don't want to have to go file for a job, but you can only pay them half time. So what short time pay is, if anybody else doesn't know, like Nebraska, for instance, is let's say you pay Johnny $20 an hour, 40 hours a week. That's $800.
Yep.
If he files an employment, you fire him, he's only going to get $400 from the state.
Yep.
Average percentage, 50%. If you do short time where you just put Johnny on for 20 hours a week, so he's going to get $400 from you, the state will kick in $200 for the half pay he's losing. So Johnny's take home is now $600 instead of $400, but not the $800 he was getting. It's closer to what he was getting.
Yep.
So it's called short time. You can fill that out. You looked it up yesterday.
Yeah, it's on the Nebraska government website. You just search STC, short time compensation. So
there's a lot, and then now that employee doesn't have to go search for jobs during the process. They don't get cut off their benefits either. If you can make that work, make it work. I just want you guys to understand, if you're watching this just as a wannabe entrepreneur, somebody who's just, follows the podcast and you're not a business owner, understand that. I think we had that in our church group last night. We did via Zoom. It was kind of cool because we can't meet anybody. And I think people get to see that, like, how hard it is for business owners to have to cut people. It fucking breaks my heart. I'm going to have to cut a lot of people the next couple of days just based on where it's trending. And it sucks. And a lot of people say, you need to cut them sooner. I'm like, listen, I'm going to go as long and as hard as I can. And if I'm going to go out, I'm going out on good morals based on the principles that we hold dear. And we did that in Sioux City last week. I mean, she says I took credit for her idea.
You did.
All right, tell them what we did. Tell them what we did.
So we have our Eat Fit Go meals in Sioux City, and we could have brought them back to Omaha and sold them here, but why not go to the community and give them to people that are in need? So I'm like, why don't we just do this? Because we had done it before for the floods, and it was partially his idea at that point too.
Thank you. I'll
give you credit there.
Yeah.
So, I mean, just giving back to the community, that's going to show the type of business we are more than anything else. When you put I guess like last night, put your faith in action and let your actions speak louder than your paycheck, I guess. Like,
well, it was it. So the thing is, Sioux City, so Iowa went on lockdown for the most part, and they keep progressing. So it kind of devastated most of the business communities in the state of Iowa that I'd seen. That Governor Reynolds, that's her choice. So she's the governor. We dropped 90% in sales, 95% within a matter of 3 days. It wasn't a little bit. It wasn't like we slowly dropped. It went from $1,000 one day to $58 in sales the next.
Yeah.
It was so instant. And I went up there and I didn't realize what was going on because it's another state. And I drove up to drop off meals. And we're the only 2 cars in the entire parking lot of like 25 businesses. I'm like, oh shit.
Yep.
And so then I checked Friday, checked sales Thursday, and then Saturday was kind of going. Even my employee who had actually lost his job at the gym because they shut the gyms down was working for me. And he goes, I appreciate the hours, man, but you thought about shutting down because like how much are you losing? I'm like, I'm losing about $225 a day in the hole right now.
Yeah.
He goes, I shut it down. He goes, we'll package up the meals. I'm like, you know what? Don't. Brittney brought it up, so we put a post up on Facebook, and I tagged a bunch of people, and
you got shared.
I said, hey, we'd rather give it away to the community than try to haul to Omaha and try to make a few bucks. I mean, it's good karma. And we get up there, and people are lined up out the door. I didn't expect, like, we've done some things before. We've had some free meals, whatever. We had a lot up there because it's a full blown Eat Fit Go, full walk-in cooler. There's a lot more meals than we have anywhere else, and we were lined up and we were there for 4 or 5 hours just passing out meals all the way to the end. And here's the thing, and people were like so thankful, never been in the store before. One lady, her husband's deployed or something. I can't remember exactly what the story was, but she's watching healthcare workers' kids because they're stuck in the hospital, can't leave. So she's got like 10, 15 kids. I'm like, take extra. I loaded up a whole box, and then a couple other people that, were on disability. And I'm like, yeah, just load up, get what you got to get. And then one lady came in, she goes, oh no, I'm paying for it. I go, ma'am, it's free. She goes, I own a small business. I'm paying for it.
Yeah.
She goes, what am I at? I go, like $36. She goes, oh, that's not enough. Grabs like 5 or 6 more things. What am I now? I'm like 67. No. Hey, my son wants this. And he puts, and all of a sudden we're like, she goes, how much am I at? I go, you're at 171. She goes, okay, that's good. I'm like, ma'am, you really don't have to. She goes, yes, I do. Because you guys are doing this. This is what I can do for you. I'm like, that's awesome. And the last guy of the day, all I have left is the frozen meals, which have been in there for a little bit. And there's like 6 left. Dude takes all 6. I'm like, well, hey, they're free. He goes, no, I'm paying. I go, well, at least they're 30% off. He goes, nope. And I fought a tear coming down my face because I'm like, shit, thank you.
Yeah.
I mean, it's granted we gave away $5,000-$6,000 of the meals in one day. And I don't sweat an eye over it. I mean, at all. Like, I was happy to do it. And everybody else is like, I hope they remember this when you open back up. I'm like, hey, whatever happens, happens. I'm just going to keep doing what I can do. But it just made more sense at that point to help people out. It made me feel a hell of a lot more better than making $5,000, to be perfectly honest with you. And like I said, if we're going to go down, we're going to go down the way that we want our name to be remembered. And hopefully we can make that thing kick back open in 2-3 weeks. Hopefully this shit is done and over and out on time. I don't think it will be, but whenever we can. And it's dealing with landlords, and they're all kind of not at that position yet, but this is just, I want you guys to know like where we're at, why we do what we do. And people were like, oh, somebody else made a comment, and I won't say who. They made a comment. Well, it's easy for you because you're rich.
No.
My wife's about to pretty much lose her job.
Yep.
And my daughter lost her job. And we're obviously making significantly less. We're down 35%. No, we're not. And honestly, this is just us being us. And I'm not asking to be thanked. I'm just letting you guys know that we all have a choice right now to have hope and help each other out. It's a choice. It's a choice you make every day. Everyone is scared. No one's sitting on a stockpile of cash. I'm just doing it as a choice because that's the person that I am, that I want my kids to see more than I care about keeping what kind of car I drive.
Yeah.
And everything's on the line for us. Understand our house is co-signed to everything. And we had to explain to our kids, like, this is your house. We didn't want to scare them, but we wanted to keep it real because there's a great lesson learning time for them to understand to maybe knock them off that materialistic horse, which we all want to do to our kids. Like, God, I never had that nice of shit when I was a kid. And I want them to realize that, how lucky they are in that aspect. But I also think at the same point, it makes us realize how lucky we are to have things that we do.
Yeah.
I know you've talked about the girls with a lot lately, just like, hey, it's all
absolutely.
Boys are simpler. They don't care about anything. So daughters are different, and
they are,
and how lucky we are to have a job.
Yeah.
A lot of people. I mean, that's just it. And how quick it can happen. And I think for people who are under the age of 30 right now, especially under like 25, I want you to take her as an example. Like, listen, no job is beneath you.
No, not at all.
When you have kids to feed at home and they're your whole world, I'll pick up dog shit all day. I don't care. I mean, at all. I mean, I'll do whatever I have to do to make sure that our babies are taken care of. I don't really care what the job is. It's money.
Yeah.
I guess I really was raised with the work ethic to treat the janitor the same as I do the CEO, because they're all just out there trying to put food on the table for their people they love.
Absolutely.
Everybody's got people they love.
Last week when we let go of half of our staff, from the managers and positions all the way down to our janitorial staff, the look on their faces was no different. It was all the same across the board. And handing those checks out or handing those letters out to those people, 84 people, that's heartbreaking to see how many people. And I know that this hotel is not the only place that's laying people off. It's all over. So anything that you can do to help out. Even if I got a job to help support our family and make meals and do stuff for other people. Right now, I think now is as good a time as ever to reach out and help everybody. Well,
and that's the thing. I think right now it's supporting local. It's been great. We've been eating out. Okay, so like we were on budget like 6 weeks ago. No more eating out. We're trying to save some money. And all kids like, we're eating out all the time. I'm like, well, it's because I know these restaurant owners.
Yeah.
And these these guys are done.
They're hurting too.
They're hurting bad. It's not the same experience outside of Zen. And people are like, well, you're still getting web orders. I am, and I appreciate them. Is it anywhere close to what we do inside shop? Not even remotely. But I really appreciate everything helps.
Absolutely.
And I'll take anything I get. I'm so appreciative of it. But it's the same with restaurant owners. We do 10 times in a day in a store what we do on web, and then some, even right now. And it's every bit helps. Everybody's on budget mode. I get that. I'll take whatever I can get, and be completely thankful for it. And that's when it comes to like us, like people are like, what are you doing budgeting, financing wise? Like, well, for us, okay, we call we have enough money to pay our mortgage this month. I'm preparing for May 1st.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay,
be ahead of the game.
If I can forbear it, I'm going to forbear it. Even if it costs me a little interest, fine. And that's across the board on everything to figure out what I can and can't do on paper. And it's like, okay, just make sure I'm prepared.
Yeah.
We did have savings for a while, but my wife's staying at home for a year for our little one. Just bad timing. Like I said, everyone had bad timing, and it couldn't have been worse, as far as that. But that ate up a lot of our savings. So, but we sit here and bitch, piss, and moan about it. There's nothing really bitch, piss, and moan about.
Yeah.
Just work.
Yeah.
And do what I can when I can do it. And Chad brought up a great thing last time. Like, listen, if you're going to buy something, need something, whatever, pull up Marketplace. Well, these aren't business owners. They're people at home trying to find things at their house that they can sell to make a few extra bucks. Go buy it there. I'll tell you right now, half the crap in this office came off Facebook Marketplace. Isn't that true, dude?
Yeah. We got Chad off of Marketplace.
Yeah. They did. They found me on Craigslist. No, if it sounds bad and it looks bad, it's because it's used. So don't blame me.
Yeah, no, but it's a straight fact. We bought a lot of this stuff when we could get local. We bought local, and we always have done that. And trying to support all the people that we can in town, and a lot of them showing a lot of love to us. And I think for our gym, we have a waiting list. Because people have seen how we have performed and what local is, and that we're actually local, and most of the other bigger chains here are not. And they see how we treat our employees and what we've done. And all of a sudden we went from how do we add more members to having 60, 70 people on a list. And people were like, as somebody messaged me last night or a couple of days ago, was like, your gym's the cleanest gym I've ever seen. I go, it's because we're small biz.
Yeah.
I'm going to see you next week, and I don't want to get any crap from you about my gym being dirty. We take care of it. Like this is legitimately what was your 401k is in gym equipment that you guys are lifting and slinging and banging around in the gym. That's her 401k.
Yeah.
She put more cash in the first one than I did. Just because it was her idea.
My second 401k went to the second location.
Her second 401k went to her second gym, another job. Look, kid you not, like that's our retirement is sitting there.
Yeah.
And so that's the thing. And I won't talk what the name of the other gym is. It rhymes with Nemesis. And I then I'll get sued. Their employees are messaging me on Saturday as we're driving back and forth to Sioux City, shutting down our store, being like that they're refusing to pay their PTO. They're refusing. They're putting them on furlough. These guys are having trouble collecting unemployment. I'm like, these multi-million dollar company who has the ability to take care of their staff. And this is what you're doing. This is what understand when you have a gym membership at a major gym like that, and that's the way they treat their staff. That's what you're supporting.
Yeah.
Understand that your dollar is a voting ballot that you give every day, voting on whether or not how you like that company's run and the things that they offer and the way they treat their staff. That's a choice you have to make every day. That's your power. Screw voting every 4 years, every 2. What you put your money into every day is reflective of where your values and morals are actually at. And finding that out, I'm like, good God, if I had the money to open up like 20 more Iron Heavens just to put them down, I would in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
And I also, I got resumes getting flooded to my phone. I'm like, come on, Iron right now. But, people are like, I want to work for a company like yours. Apparently, whatever I was saying back to this former employee of mine was getting shared to about 100 or so of their employees and whatnot. And it's great. Like, I have no problem being who I am and saying exactly what I believe in. But that's pretty telling, I mean, when this whole thing gets down in the next 30 days and then we're getting back to normal, I want you to find out, ask the employees of the businesses that you patron, how was your boss? How was the small business owner? Is this a small business owner? How'd they treat you during this whole thing? Yeah. Was my dollars getting spent here, going to you? And find out. So that way, if this shit ever happens again, you know that you're supporting local, that your community is being supported or not. Find out, ask any of my staff. Even the ones I had to let go that I will hire back the second I can. They'll tell you
Absolutely.
exactly how candid I was, how candid we were, Nick, Shane, all of them, and what we tried to do for them. And people that I literally haven't worked for me that long, I'm like, here's some cash, man. Like,
Yeah.
it's just to help you out. What can I do to help you? And we've told them all, like, here's how you file an appointment. Here's how you do this. Here's the grant you should go. You know, all the other business owners, even ones we compete against,
Yeah.
have messaged like, what are you guys doing for this? I met one the other day. I bought a kettlebell rack from one of the guys, and he's like, what are you doing? I go, no, file this and do this. Go to this sba.gov/disaster, fill this paperwork out, do it late at night. He's like, are you serious? Like, yeah, if you have any questions, here's my number. Call me. I'll help you out, because we're all in the same boat right
We
now.
are.
And this is where it comes to the point where I wanted to talk about, and people are like, I've been asked, what's your opinion on the shutdown, not shutdown? I go, here it is. And I don't care about the political backlash for it, whatever. I don't care. I understand what our state is trying to do, keeping businesses going.
Yeah.
I understand what Iowa's trying to do, trying to protect their citizens. I understand from both angles. Understand this, and I think most people understand exactly this. Most common people who understand common sense understand this. The borders of our states do not have 20-foot walls or some sort of uncrossable river.
Right.
If Iowa shuts down and Nebraska doesn't, or vice versa, all you have to do is step in your state. Your shutdown you're destroying your economy for nothing.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not a business owner that's against a shutdown. I'm not at all, actually.
No, not at all.
Shut them all down.
Shut it down.
16 days, just get it over with.
Yep.
The elongation of this process is what we're all fearful of is, am I still dealing with this shit in June? Am I still dealing with this in July? If you're going to shut everybody down, just get it over with. Do 16 days and be done with it.
Yeah.
And then it's done. The biggest fear most business owners have, and a lot of you guys have messaged this in, and this, I think this description is very poignant for this, is that if we're all in the same boat, there's less fear.
Yeah.
But if certain businesses are allowed to still thrive in this shit, and that I'm the one over here barely making it by, how negotiable is the bank or the landlord going to be when they still have money to be an ass if they want to be? If we were all in the same boat, we're all facing the same problems that the bankers and the lenders and the credit card companies and all these things and the IRS has to be 100% lenient, because we're all facing the same problem. Yeah. It's that fear right now is what's paralyzing business owners all over the place.
Oh, yeah.
For us, certain industries are killing it. And certain industries like ours are kind of leaping by. Certain ones were forced down. We're kind of in this quandary right now. Like, what the hell do we do?
Yeah.
And knowing that landlords aren't forced, the banks aren't forced to do anything because they're still getting enough revenue from the ones who are killing it, kind of kills our ability to negotiate collectively.
Yeah.
Almost like a union in that aspect. If all businesses were shut down for 2 weeks and we all face the same shit, we'd all just do a 60-day forbearance, allow everything come up, every bank still gets its loan money, and we're all back to square one in 60 days.
Yeah.
What's so hard about that?
I don't understand that either.
So in fact, just New York is shut down. Let's say they end the shutdown in 30 days. And somebody from a smaller community that's more spread out has the disease and flies into New York in 30 days.
Yeah.
What the hell was your shutdown for?
Started all over again.
Started all over again. The fear is that you're going to elongate this because nobody can come to a consensual agreement.
Yeah.
And just get it the fuck done. And I agree with when it comes to the financing things. Like, hey, give everybody a check, fine. Simple fact is, give it to states. States fund the businesses. The business owners can pay their people their paychecks. They can pay their bills. If you can give me a grant, even though I'm not open, so I can still pay my staff, they can still have a check, they can still pay their bills, you've already fixed the situation.
Yeah.
And literally make it real quick and easy versus just a free check. Just everybody still have their job. We had record-breaking unemployment, right? Okay, cool. So it means all these people have a job. They want to have a job. Give the businesses, the state the money. So the state of Iowa is doing it right now. They're doing a grant program. I just found out yesterday. So I spent the last 3 hours swearing up and down and yelling, and Chad got to hear me and my wife helping me out to figure out how to apply for it and figure out what I need. And I was honest. I know you can do up to $25,000. I'm like, hey, for that store, 16 does it.
Yeah.
I didn't apply for the full amount. I was honest because you know why? That's what we need right now.
Yeah.
I need honesty. Like I can 16, 60 days. I can get all my staff, keep giving them full checks. I can restock all the food. We did this, that, or the other thing and be up and running in 30 days and have enough to make sure that, when sales are going to be slow because people aren't working and don't have discretionary income, allows me to build that back up.
Yep.
And I just did the math. I didn't ask for the full amount. I asked for what I needed.
Yeah.
I think most people, maybe I'm being an optimist. Maybe I'm being naive. I think most people right now are trying to be honest. They, nobody's trying to profiteer unless you're one of the assholes who went and bought 17,000 bottles of hand sanitizer. You have a special place in hell, in my opinion. So I guess one have hope with family right now when you can't find something to do?
I mean, honestly, I think the hope that we have found is our life has just kind of been put a little bit on pause, especially when it comes to all of the kids stuff. I mean, we have 6 kids who are running constantly with something. And so we've had a chance to slow down. We've had family dinner every night since which
is rare
like
for us.
Maybe once a week. If
that.
Yeah. I mean, we were always running in opposite directions with taking kids places. So, I mean, for our family, it's finding the good in things. And yeah, it's uncertain right now. The businesses, me having a job, there's a lot of uncertainty right now. But you know what? I have a calmness, I guess, about it as well, just because whatever happens.
I think it's some of our staff, a little bit younger than us, not 20.
Yeah.
And they're asking, I go, listen, I've been broke twice, complete financial reversals more than once in my life. It doesn't scare me.
Yeah.
I think if nobody's ever had to file bankruptcy or have had a nasty divorce or something like that, it's the fear of the unknown. So let me tell you something. It will be fine. You will be okay.
Yeah.
If you're a business owner and you have to end up filing Chapter 11 protection or personally Chapter 13, it'll be okay.
Yeah.
You will get it figured out. Those, as much as it sucks, those exist for a reason. And hopefully it doesn't get to that. Hopefully the grant stuff comes through. There's SBA bridge loans, all sorts of things you can apply for to help you get through the time, short-term financing, all those kind of things. Try it. I mean, what do you want to sit back when you're 80 saying, God, I wish I had tried something? Or do you want to sit back and be like, God, I gave it my damnedest?
Yeah.
Shit, it is what it is. I mean, for us, we'll probably end up with the Corona seventh baby at this point in time, but a little too much time at home.
I mean, there's gonna be a lot of babies.
But there's a lesson that we learned in this. It's made me realize how leveraged we are. Now, yes, I am very risky. She's much more conservative. I go hard in the paint. This is absolutely true. I'm not saying I don't think shit out. I'm just saying that I'm not scared to take a risk.
Yeah.
And this is one of those times where I'm like, okay, maybe I've taken too many risks too soon. Because now looking at how leveraged we are and extended we are in certain things, that if shit hits the fan, that I'm probably not as prepared as I should be. I've done a lot of work to get us to a better position, which we are right now over the last 2 years. But I need to have a better standard for myself of just for the holy shit moments. Like right now, I need to have a little bit more planned.
Yeah.
I think not just in the business wise, but also personally. I think we've leveraged too much personally where we're at. Like, a couple years ago, we were kind of rolling in it. We were spending money like morons.
Yeah.
And then we realized about 6 months ago, God, we spent money like morons. And so we were trying to fix it. And that's the thing. I think it's a lesson for all of us to what are our expenditures? What have we leveraged to? Do we really need X, Y, Z for this? Was it really necessary? And I'm pretty frugal for the most part. I mean, anything nice I'm wearing, she bought. I guarantee you, it wasn't me. But at the same point, like, okay, I've done stupid. Here's a lesson learned. And this kind of thing, it did it to us in 2008. Most of us went through that shit that are, in our late 30s. We remember and up that we remember what it was like. And that's why I am the way I am. This is going to change the next generation.
Yeah.
Who was in their 20s right now to be kind of like we are now, but even more so being like, holy shit. And also, I've always said this, God, I wish I had money back in 2008. Man, I would have bought all this stock, and next time there's a fall down, I'm going to do it, because it happens. It's just, the historical track record. Blame whoever for this, that. There's always some bullshit, but the stock market does this. There's recessions and there's booms. It happens all the time. Bear and bull markets. And I'm like, God, next time this happens, I'm going to have like 20 grand set aside. I'm going to buy some shit. And here we are. And
don't have 20 grand.
I don't have 20 grand. I don't even have 10. And I'm asking her, like, can you put any stocks on credit cards? Because, Norwegian and Carnival Cruise Line is down like 70%. But here we are. And I think a lot of people have said that. I mean, Chad and I've talked about it previously before many times. This is one of those instances where the rich get richer. Because in 2008, if you had money, if you didn't get your ass kicked in 2008, you were able to invest in Wells Fargo and some of these other stocks and make 500% return on your cash. Most same people still have money right now, and I still don't. But I don't believe in stocks. I buy businesses. I invest in people. That's always been my gig. But like right now, I've told her 100 times, Chad and I've had many a conversation about this. God, if I just had an extra 10 grand someplace, I could go. And this is a lesson, like maybe I do need to actually keep more savings for these kind of situations and just learn how much have I leveraged myself. What have I bought that I thought was so crucial at that time to find out now that, shit, I wish I had bought that. Wish I had that money for this, that, or the other thing.
If we learned one thing from 2008, though, it's that we cannot let these companies buy back.
No,
we have to figure out a way to leverage that away, because it's it just becomes corrupt, and it's an up and down. We can, when it's bad, we can make money by selling off. And when it's good, when it's good again, or when things turn around, they can go and buy all their stuff back for half the price. And it's just it's this vicious cycle of just corruption. I'm just like, how is this legal?
Well, exactly, and that's the thing is I dabble around the stock market. It's definitely not my forte by any means. I understand enough. I mean, we had a while like that. That's when I was doing. If you saw me in the gym doing cardio, I was literally watching YouTube videos on stock purchasing and shit. 'Cause I don't get it. I mean, and by that way, if you want to teach yourself anything, YouTube's free, kids. That's why you got to subscribe to Timothy D. Rexius Now or Never YouTube channel. Shameless plug. Tell your friends. But that's the thing. I agree. I mean, and I understand bailing out airlines, and I do, banks especially, because they're the ones that loan the money. But Cuban had a very good point. There's a lot of private equity. There's a lot of really rich people that want to buy an airline because it's never going to lose its value. It's never going to go bankrupt, really. Hospitality, same thing. But small businesses, you don't get those back. You don't. Yeah. And they employ so many people. And at the end of the day, if Main Street isn't spending cash, it doesn't matter what the fuck Wall Street does. Now, I understand firming it up because it matches people's 401k. It's a huge sector, the Dow and the NASDAQ and the S&P. I understand that. But people start having money again. They start buying flights again, the airlines go up. It's really not that hard to figure out. But the percentage of people employed by small businesses in comparison to those, significantly larger. Yeah. So take care of the people, 100%. The fact that, I mean, hopefully by the time this podcast airs next couple of days, that Senate has got off its ass and got something done. I'm never super hopeful. I don't believe the government does much of correct very often at all. But hopefully they have, because people right now are hurting. And so right now, like we said, call every bank you got. Yep. Call every person you know. Call every landlord you have, and tell them the situation and find out what's at the table. Make an honest plea. Fill out every single SBA disaster thing. If you're small business, personal, whatever, file for everything. I think I filed like 6 different loans for the same thing, or SBA or some sort of disaster thing, just in case. I'd rather have done the work than sit around 6 months and go, oh shit, I wish I had done something. Exactly. And for the most part, we found that most places have been pretty negotiable and understanding. Yeah. Honestly, they've been really, and that's where personal relationships come in play. Like we know every one of our landlords. We've met every single one of them. We know almost all of our bankers for the most part, one way or another. Yeah. I mean, right. So, and that's the thing is, for us, it's not a hard plea, and we just say, hey, like, here's where we're at. What can we do? What can't we do? And, just keep trucking along. Have hope. Yeah. Don't let yourself sit stagnant. Like now is not the time to just freeze in fear. And if you have that fear, reach out reach out to one of us, and we can help guide you through it. It takes a village. It does. We're all in the same boat. Don't lose hope. Yeah. Don't sit back. Sitting back hoping shit gets better accomplishes absolutely nothing. You take it in your hands. What you can do, communicate with people. Yeah. And be positive. Right now, more than anything, we need positivity. Everybody's going through some shit. So I told my entire staff at Rexius, I only want to see posts that are fun, uplifting, energetic, or just straight damn funny. Yeah. And so, and yes, some of my memes I share might be inappropriate, but damn it, if it made me laugh, I figured it might make somebody else laugh. Just do it. And like I told my parents, if you're like, what do we do? Stay home, Netflix and chill. I think my mom had to look up what Netflix and chill meant. She already knows that. Oh, she might know. I mean, it's good for them. Good for them. But she's going to be so mad. She's going to be so pissed I put that on there. But, it makes me realize how grateful I am for the opportunities that I had, the people that I get to work with, my kids, my family, my loved ones. I just hope that we as a country can come together more positive after all this than anything else, and realize, what we held so dear before versus what really is actually dear to us. It makes us reset and evaluate where our values are. And if that's a positive that comes out of this, and I am. I mean, I got to think all the shit that we went through for the last 5 years, you and I, between God, we got sued, which we won, but cost us $20,000 for a frivolous lawsuit, in which we just got done paying off right before this shit. To fighting to get our house, to selling our house, to dealing with exes, to dealing with the companies going down in 2017, 2018 with all the direct-to-consumer shit in the nutrition industry, to fighting back to get where we are. And maybe all that was for a reason. Maybe that's why we're so calm right now, because we've already been through hell. So this is kind of par for the course.
Yeah.
I believe everything happens for a reason, and maybe this is the reason why. Maybe it prepared me for this kind of shit, which is why I'm calm. And that's what our staff needs to see, is that, hey, we're good.
Yeah.
We'll figure this out. We'll be here 6 months from now, a year from now, and 6 years from now. I'm not going anywhere.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, that's just...
No matter how broke you are, you can always earn more money.
Sure.
You can always work hard and figure it out. And so...
She told me the day we met, she goes, I don't care about the money. I don't care about the houses or any of that shit. I'll live in a van down by the river, but it better be a big-ass van because we have a lot of kids.
The kids would live in a separate one.
The kids would get their own van. Yeah, they probably... Yeah, that's true. So, anyways, thanks for tuning in Now or Never. Make sure you follow Timothy D. Rexius on Instagram, Facebook at CEO Truth. We're on Spotify, SoundCloud, iTunes, and YouTube. Timothy D. Rexius Now or Never podcast. And honestly, please go like and share the podcast. We had over 200,000 minutes watched in the last 28 days. And if we want this thing to get bigger, this message of positivity that we're spreading out for free, you gotta subscribe. You gotta like it, share with your friends. If you guys want us to cover stuff, especially right now, if there's something that her and I or any of our business partners can touch on that's going to help you out, message in, email in, DM in, whatever the acronym is, the message in, and send it to us. We'd love to help out anyone we can, any way we can, and that's legitimate. So thanks, guys.
Yeah.
Guys, thanks again for checking out the InFocus podcast. Make sure you check out next Wednesday's episode when we have Colt from the Cerebral Entertainment Podcast stop by the studio via Zoom. We're going to talk a little bit about forecasting the future for small business amid the coronavirus pandemic. You don't want to miss next week's episode.
Top gone, right, I made a name for myself.